First off, thanks a lot for coming. Thank you, Brandon, for setting this up. Tell me about what in your coaching as you got developed, your parents, teachers, other leadership examples, who taught you how to be a leader?
Oh my goodness. No, I appreciate the opportunity to be here and just love that question because sports has played such a great role in my life in terms of just my development. And so I began with having a relationship with my dad through sports. And so, my parents were divorced and we had two separate families, and my dad used that as a way to spend time with me. And I didn't know it at the time.
Said, I'm not going to get as much time, but that's the way I'm going to get.
This is the way. It was a creative way. And my parents were in a good space, and it was great. And so from the time I was 7, 8 years old all the way through high school, my dad was my coach.
Okay.
And I'm so fortunate because he was a great mentor in the community. He was a great mentor for me. And we just connected through basketball. And so he was my coach from the time in elementary all the way through high school. And I learned all these life lessons. And obviously my mom was there and just had a great foundation. And then I had the opportunity to go to college where I played at the University of Pittsburgh. And I was a walk-on student athlete. So I was there academically, had the opportunity to play on the team, and we had this great team. Our best ranking was number 2 in the country. We went to the tournament every year and learned a lot of life lessons from basketball at Pitt. But I also had faculty, I had administrators who just loved, served, and cared. And all of that coming together makes me passionate about utilizing.
Shapes you.
It shapes me.
Yeah.
It does. And it makes me passionate about also utilizing sport to open up doors of opportunity for others.
Okay.
And so I just think we have these different callings, we have different venues to work out our purpose in life. And I've been able to utilize sport to do that, to empower people, to help them be prepared to walk the doors of opportunities. And I'm passionate about it. It's been great.
I often say if you go to a chamber lunch and you look at 100 people around the room, there's probably about 8 that are putting in the level of effort and intensity that a JV basketball player is.
Yes.
To be on the team. Every one of those JV players is literally pouring their heart out to possibly get playing time and, potentially someday get to varsity. And if 95 of the other people at the chamber would work that hard, like America would be a lot more productive.
My expectations, and I've said this from day one for our athletic department, is do your job at a championship level.
Yeah.
So have ownership, accountability, understand what your role is. Everyone has a role, but do everything that you can to do it at a championship level. And then the other expectations are positive attitude, effort, and energy, because we can control that.
Hugely important to me.
And then professionalism and integrity. And I think if we can do all of those things together, we can accomplish something special and have the teamwork, have the synergy. We talk about championship level synergy. But once again, doing your job and having a positive attitude, effort, and energy is so important in my opinion.
How do you help young development students? How do you help them understand what a championship level is? Because they might think of that on a scale of 1 to 10 as a 7, and you're thinking, okay, you're still 3 ticks away. I need to help you understand that a 10 is actually a couple different than what you're thinking a 10 is.
Yeah. And so the great part about college athletics is every sport has its own demands, has its own culture. And so what I do as an athletic director, as an administrator, is put our coaches in the best position to be able to recruit, retain, develop, and build culture. And then as a department, we lay out standards and we talk about our overall culture. We're working through a process now of what's our proven process for success as a department.
Okay.
And then we ask the coaches within your sports, what's your vision, how you having traction towards your goals, but what culture are you going to have within that sport? And I think once our coaches set out the standards for our young people, they're so competitive at this level that they're going to meet the standard. but they just want some type of guardrails. They want some type of vision, so they can compete. And so that's what our coaches are so important, in that role.
So outside of the popular notion that kids really don't want direction and they don't want leadership and they don't want you involved, they actually really do want you involved and want you to set an example and want you to demonstrate leadership.
I do. And I think, that probably changes a little bit as depending on what level you're dealing with. At this level in Division I, you have folks that are really dialed into flourishing and want to be the best version of themselves. They're really achievement oriented. And I'll give you a couple of stats. I heard an AD kind of talking about this in the interview I was listening to. When you think about the numbers, there's 35 to 40 million kids ages 5 to 18 who play sports.
Okay.
5% of those go on to participate in college athletics. 2% participate in Division I athletics. And so when you think about the type of athlete that we're dealing with, they're driven. And then, at Valpo, we have these great majors where they can do engineering, they can do nursing, they can do all these high rigorous academic curriculums and majors. We have driven student athletes. And so when the coaches set the tone, they're going to meet the standards. They just need the structure and the culture to have buy-in.
You talked during your conference about setting an example for your boys. You're very mindful that they're there and they sort of see what you do and how you interact. Why does that hit home so importantly for you?
Oh my goodness, it's such a great responsibility when you have people who depend on you, who look up to you. And so I have a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old. I have 2 little boys, and it's just so fulfilling to know that they love and care for you, or care about you. But you have this responsibility to lead by example. And I'm a big proponent of leadership, and we lead in our daily lives with our families, we lead at work. And so how am I showing up? How am I leading by example? What values are they going to embrace because they interact with me? But also, what are my habits? What are the small things that I'm doing that I think are going to produce results that I want? But I also know my kids are watching that too.
Yeah.
And so it's that accountability piece that I'm very fortunate to have.
VU Athletics, you came into the organization, you've had a little bit of time to get your feet wet and really meet everybody and learn assets, strengths, weaknesses, etc. Where do you see Valpo Athletics like right now? What's your, driving challenge? Where's your opportunity? What's the lay of the landscape look like?
I'm so excited for this opportunity. We did an employee survey when I first started, and obviously I asked about the strengths and opportunities, and most of the comments in terms of the strengths were all about people really care about this place.
Yeah,
there's cohesion. People, and we're gonna lean on that strength. And now that I've lived here, you really see it. Like, people really care about the student athletes. They care about Valparaiso University. And then when I go out in the community, it's the same feeling of people just care about this place. And so I think it's hard to replicate. We're gonna lean into that in terms of a strength. I think there's tons of opportunity. I talk a lot about synergy, us coming together to do something really great, championship level synergy. And so that's going to be one piece that we really lean into. I also think we have history and tradition from a sports standpoint. And there's just a lot of opportunities that are going to grow from there.
Upcoming seasons across the sports. Start with fall. What are you excited about?
Well, I'm excited about all the sports,
you're
right?
About all of it.
But I would tell you, leading into it, our women's soccer team was picked number 1 in the Missouri Valley preseason polls. So, big expectations there. But what I would say is, just from a learning standpoint and kind of an evolution standpoint, it's the first time where the target's on their back.
Yeah.
And the prep.
Everybody knows you're there
Everybody
now,
knows
so
you're not sneaking up on people. And so, I'll be curious to see how we react to that. But really happy for that group. With cross country, looking for us to continue to build there. A lot of talent there. We got to continue to build there. With our football season, we're doing a lot to engage fans for one. We're going to do a lot of pre-game festivities. We want families to come out and really enjoy the game to get that home field advantage. But also what Landon Fox is building there is just amazing. We got to work through a couple positions and decide who our starters are and some key spots like quarterback. But we're really coming in to compete, and he's really building out that staff. So I'm excited from that standpoint. Volleyball had a great year last year.
Legendary.
Oh my goodness, it was
Yeah.
such fun, and it wasn't a part of it, but just looking back at it, kind of the some of the film and the interviews, what Karen Avery is building, it's been just amazing.
What would you like to tell Valpo or Northwest Indiana about Valpo Athletics? Promotions you got coming up, events you want them to come out there for, where to go find you online, all that stuff.
Definitely. Well, I want to appreciate this time. It is an exciting time, a new chapter for us to get to the next level. And we have all this history here, but we're excited for the new direction. So definitely go to our website, valpoathletics.com. And we have all of our schedules starting off with football and volleyball. And I would say when you look at Division I athletics in the area, it's high level. We're in the Missouri Valley Conference, and all of our sports, softball, basketball, it's just a high level of competition. And so it's a family oriented. We're trying to build something special here, and we're really looking to engage the community.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming again.
Thank you.
Appreciate the opportunity. Look forward to being out there. And thanks again to Brandon for setting this up.
Thanks. Yeah, no, I appreciate your time, Chris.
Awesome.
Thank you.